live interviews all day long today, all day long yesterday, and then swapping them out with what's going on the stage. Remember to tap that subscribe button down there so you will get notified every time a new live interview is scheduled to occur. And then when it begins, you got the red thing again. How did we fix it last time? Well, now it's green. Now it's yellow. Okay, you're live. Sorry about that. That's the fun of live broadcasting. Yeah, things like that happen. In any event, we're here live with Kalen Dalmaida. Dalmaida, I said it right.
Yeah.
Okay, Kalen Dalmaida. And Kalen is with Turning Point USA as well. Do you know Chrissy?
Absolutely. Yeah, she's great.
And so how long have you been with TP USA?
I was hired at TP USA to be a reporter at Frontlines in 2021.
Okay. So you're working with Monica now?
Yeah.
Or you will be working with Monica?
Well, no, she's fully integrated, and she does great stuff. She works at the White House. And I met her through social media, and then I said, hey, do you want to come work for Frontlines? And she said, absolutely. I would love to work for Turning Point USA.
So you're a king maker, a queen maker.
I am definitely always prospecting. Yeah.
Sure. Are you running a department then?
Absolutely not. I just care about building a great team so that we can provide people with news that's important, news that's truthful, and we seek out transparency.
Where do you guys do all of this out of? Is it here in Phoenix?
So headquarters of TPUSA is in Phoenix, and the Frontlines division is in the media department here, but only 3 of us are, well, I guess you could say 4 of us are local here. The rest are around the country. So Monica is on the East Coast in D.C.
Obviously, right.
We have Savannah Hernandez in Texas, in Austin, and then we also have Jonathan Cho, who's excellent. He's great, seasoned vet in reporting, and he's in Seattle. So we have a good distribution, and we also have Brandon Dre, who's one of our newest reporters. He does great work. He sort of is floating around right now.
So Turning Point USA, then, in the news reporting end of it, where do you find that at? Where is it broadcast live? Is it packaged and ingested as media? Then it's posted? Is there a live stream? So how do you deliver it?
So we deliver our news on X.
Okay.
So that is where people can find us. It's at Frontlines TPUSA. And you can also find our stuff on Instagram as well. So we're currently still building out our platforms, but our primary location to find our content and reporting is on X.
So when you're reporting, you were telling me that you reported on immigration hotels.
Correct.
And I was asking him, like, what's an immigration hotel? You mean like the one they took over in New York? No, that's not what you're talking about.
So that one wasn't a secret.
There's secret immigration hotels.
Absolutely there is.
Okay.
Absolutely there is, which is amazing because they're taxpayer funded. Right? Don't you? I think everyone would agree that they would like to know what's going on with their tax dollars. Now, the story's fascinating because I received a tip from a friend, and her friend was actually staying in a hotel that was behind this one, and she had seen some odd things going on. She goes, what is that? Why are there buses? This place looks closed off. So she calls the hotel and says, hey, can I make a reservation? They say, no, we're busy, we're closed, actually. She goes, what do you mean? I see people there. So I go to investigate, and we get tons of clips of people in the actual rooms. There's cots, there's buses shipping and moving people around. And
it's insane.
We go there, and the place is gated off, and we actually followed a bus to the airport. And I confronted one of these individuals. Now, the organization that is running that hotel, it's the Ramada Hotel in Crown Valley, San Diego, and it was previously unknown, and it's Catholic Charities.
Okay.
Catholic Charities is running that, and
which Catholic charity is it?
It's just called Catholic Charities.
Okay, so this is an entity that my friend Michael Hitchborn has done a lot of reporting on. They're not good people. They're not. They're not good Catholics either.
They're not.
They're terrible.
They're not.
All right.
So we exposed that, and then just in the same city, San Diego, the Jewish Family Service also runs one of these relocation they take the migrants there, then they take them to the airport to export them all over the country. And we followed another bus, which led us to another facility. The bus stopped at another facility, which is off the side of one of the freeways in San Diego. It's a former CHP building. And it's incredible to see how much is going into moving these people around our country.
So I call it on air. I call it treason air, treason airlines.
Of course.
And this is when we found out in like February of 2023 that existed. And it was a guy like you that followed one of those buses from the airport in Newark, I want to say, and he went and he followed the bus. It left the airport. It went to one of your secret hotels. It dropped the migrants off, and then he went back. He said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go back and see if this was a one-off." Well, so he goes the next night. These flights are coming in regular.
Yep.
They're coming in regular. It's not a bus load, it's bus loads. And so then he dug into it, FOIA request. A couple of months later, it's a Biden regime program. They're actually doing this, and they are giving out this thing called the CBP One app, right?
Yep.
And that's how they're all getting in. Is that your reporting?
We have reported on that. The CBP One app just allows anybody to come in. And the thing is, I've gone down to Yuma, Arizona, where the fence actually ends because there's an Indian reservation there, and so they will be trafficked. I actually saw with my own eyes cartel coyotes bringing people from the Mexico side down into a dry riverbed where the people then ditch all of their documents. These people are trained to get rid of everything and anything that might say who they actually are, and they have everyone do that so that dangerous people can slip in.
Can slip in with whoever.
Yes. So when people say that these people are all being vetted, there is actually no possible way to do this.
So this is being done by design. This is intentional,
it's
obviously.
Absolutely intentional. And I've spoken with I've spoken with Texas DPS. I've been along with them, and I've seen. Texas DPS has had to do most of the work in the Rio Grande Valley area because what the Biden administration has done to our Border Patrol, they've made them a humanitarian aid organization that is just part of a cog in what was called by one Border Patrol agent mass immigration hybrid warfare.
That's incredible. Well, we all know that it's going on. The thing that is the most disturbing about it is that it is the intent. The intent is to defraud. The intent is to go around our own immigration laws. And what is the intent of that? Well, the intent of that is to dilute the actual population. It's also to dilute the population of legal immigrants who come in and actually go through and do the paperwork. And like Chrissy Clark was just telling me, 13 years it took her parents to become U.S. citizens here. But it just... It angers people, and it should anger. You should be very pissed off about this to know that the government of the United States is actually capable of doing this. I say that this is Article 3, Section 3 treason. This is levying war against them, one of the states. Wherever those illegals wind up, they're trying to deprive law enforcement of any opportunity to ascertain the legal status and the identification of someone that could be, and many of them are, known enemies. That's treason. That's what a traitor does. This is the most incredible story.
And there's so many levels to this because the cartel is actively involved. And so the process in which these people, the journey essentially looks like them wanting to come here. They're basically encouraged by NGOs. There's so many NGOs all over the place helping people on this side and helping people on in Mexico and from all over the world. I've seen passports from Bangladesh and from Senegal and from everywhere, China, and they're basically their families. The cartels use these people's families as collateral. If you don't pay, we will hurt your family.
Right.
And if they can't pay, and they get here, they are then enslaved, basically. So we have actual human trafficking and cartel footholds where these people where these people end up.
So there are 5 principal cartels. There's the Sinaloa. There is I can't remember the name of all of them, but there are 5 principal cartels. They're embedded now in major U.S. cities.
Absolutely,
they've taken over a neighborhood outside of Houston in a place called Liberty, Texas. Imagine that. They actually they run that neighborhood. I mean, they've actually literally basically own it. The occupation and the apartment complexes in California,
Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, that's not an accident, and that's that's just those people are just being put up. It's a it's a humanitarian thing, not for the people that live there. It's not
right.
The actual residents of the apartment community. We should all be counting the days down to Tom Homan and to President Trump, and then to who was appointed Tom Homan, and to this enforcement mechanism actually kicks in. And I think it's actually for the benefit of the migrant too, because you're never going to be legal here. You're always going to be illegal. You're always going to be sleeping, as the old saying goes, with one eye open. You're always going to be regardless, unless you get another Biden, you're always going to be looking to see if it's ICE knocking at the door or whatever. What kind of life is that?
When I went to Chicago, I covered some of the migrant hotels there, and I interviewed some of the migrants there, and it was actually worse. Some of them wanted to go back because they were sold a bill of goods, and it was a lie. They got here and then realized they wouldn't even be able to work because of how the system is set up. They were brought here, and then they were just stuck to rot at this hotel because of the system in place. So it definitely is not what, a lot of people who support this sort of thing are being told and what they believe.
So it's not the old story of the illegal sneaks across the border so we can come to the U.S. and work for cash money, go to Western Union and wire the money back home to the family, because you can't get that kind of work in Mexico or wherever. That's not the story. The story is, folks, and I didn't know a lot of what you told me today. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I never thought of or processed that they're brought to a location and they're just left there and just. Well, hey, 3 hots and a cot. You can't go out. Don't go out. You can't go look for work. You got to stay in the hotel. I mean, I'm not aware. You guys have reported on this story. Apparently, I haven't seen it.
Mainstream media doesn't cover anything important. The mainstream media exists as a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party.
I call it the fifth estate, state-run, state-owned media, because they all are. Another thing, and I heard this as a friend of mine told me who knows some people that are in the transition. One of the things that's going to happen, in maybe in the first day, maybe in the second day, the TV networks, and I think they know this, the TV networks are going to get cut off. There's a $10 billion slush fund that the Biden regime is using to shower on the television networks. Why you see all these pharmaceutical ads. If you're wondering why you can't swing a dead cat by the tail on a television show and not hit a pharmaceutical ad, right? Well, the assumption is that the pharmaceuticals are paying for all this. Well, apparently they're not. Apparently the Health and Inhuman Disservices branch of HHS and other agencies are funneling money to the big pharmas, and they're using it to buy ads. And apparently the incoming Trump team knows about it, and they're going to kill it on day one. They're going to kill it, which may kill some of this may explain why some networks like ABC is sitting there or has a lawyer or lawyers watching The View going like, she got to disclaim that. She's got a legal disclaim that. She has a legal note. She can't do that. She can't say that. She can't say that. He can't say this. He can't say that. It really is a brave new world for media that's not traditional.
Absolutely.
I also call the MSM the Malachian satanic media. So there's nothing mainstream about it. You're mainstream.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, you're a good-looking American young man, American guy.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school to be an EMT, and so I did that.
Did you really?
So I did. I was a first responder for close to a decade.
Okay.
And in 2012, 2020, the riots happened, and in 2019, I had started a media company, an independent media company, with a couple of friends who did go to school at Azusa Pacific University for journalism. So we started an outlet called Scriber News, and once the George
Scriber News.
Have you?
I have.
That's incredible, amazing. And so I started.
I read a lot.
Very good. So I got my start there, and I worked. I did it on my own dime, and I covered the 2020 riots, and all over the country. I was there when Kyle Rittenhouse happened.
Were you there? You were actually there.
I was there.
No, that was a largely peaceful protest.
Oh yeah, they were all largely peaceful, and nothing bad ever happened. We can just ignore the $2 billion worth of damage that was caused. We could ignore all of the murders that happened. It's incredible that no one has been held accountable.
I find so. Were you harboring a secret desire to be a media guy the whole time? You're an EMT and you went to school. I assume you were considering being a doctor at some point in time.
Yeah, I was actually. I was.
maybe medical school and $500,000 in debt wasn't attractive.
Correct. I wasn't excited about the conformity. They're like, for example,
terrible.
if you are in the medical field, they force you, especially during COVID, they force you to get vaccines, and along with a bunch of other things that I wasn't looking forward to, along with the exorbitant cost. But I call it a God thing, because to me it never really made sense. I moved into an apartment with a guy who I didn't know, and he was doing street interviews on YouTube, and he ended up growing and becoming great, and I started helping him, and I thought, you know what? I want to help California. That's where I'm from. It's a deep blue state, just deep blue locked.
What part of California are you from?
Southern California, LA County.
LA County.
Yeah.
So you were in the bluest of the blue.
Exactly. Exactly. So I saw all the problems.
It's not blue. It's indigo. It's so blue.
Yeah. It's just a color of blue that exists nowhere else but California.
You have to wonder, a place like LA, if it's lost forever. Is it going to turn into John Carpenter's Escape from LA movie?
It's a great question.
It's New York. I think New York is back. Was on the cliff. And
New
Trump
Yorkers don't like what's going on in New York.
Well, I think that Mayor Adams is onto that, and I think that he thinks he probably watched what happened at I call it MAGA Square Garden at Madison MAGA Square Garden. He probably watched that event that happened there and thought to himself, "These are my people. This is in my city." Maybe there's some benefit to this for the people of New York, and maybe I'm on the wrong side of this question, because he sure as hell has made an about face.
I would love to believe that there are people who have been towing the line, who are good people and maybe have just been deceived and can turn a new leaf, and do what's right by the people that he's supposed to be serving.
But is it possible in L.A. with 11 million?
That's
heaven knows how many of them are squat or illegal Sinaloa cartels. You have entire areas in L.A. you can't even go into.
Correct.
People just they draw maps and don't go that way, go around. Ice Cube couldn't make Friday anymore because you can't go into Compton, in areas of Compton.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, I remember doing some outreach there, and it is a sad situation there in South Central. And why is Governor Gavin Newsom in a position to tell anybody how anything should run when the state is full of transients and garbage and people are getting robbed? You can just rob a store as long as it's under a certain amount. I guess you must have really needed it. It's just incredible to see what they allow there. I've confronted Scott Wiener about some of the legislation.
Who's Scott Wiener?
Scott Wiener is a senator from San Francisco.
Okay.
And he's known for having some of the worst sponsoring, supporting.
I know who he is now.
Yeah,
I know who he
terrible.
is now. Yeah.
He's terrible. And I confronted him in San Francisco on a piece of legislation. I asked him to explain it to me. I said, hey, people are saying that this legislation is going to allow the rape of minors.
Right.
what is this piece of legislation?
Why
And he
would
just
you
wouldn't
do
talk
such
about
a thing?
it.
Yeah, and he wouldn't talk to you.
No, I said, this is what people are saying. Can you please comment on this?
Well, there are legislators in California that quit the Democrat Party. Live on television. I broadcast one of them. Guys like, one of them quit in the legislature. Like, that's it. I'm out. Quit. Can't do it anymore. I won't be a part of it. I mean, when your legislature has legislators that say that what is happening in this body is like a crime, a sin against the human race, I won't have anything to do with it. There is something to that, though, Kalen, that can't continue. Evil like that burns itself out. It can't. It'll run out of souls to consume, and it'll burn itself out. Now, what arises after that? What happens after that? California. You look at, if you start in San Diego, St. Juan Diego, Los Angeles, City of the Angels, Santa Clara, St. Clair, Santa Barbara, St. Barbara. This is all Junipero Serra and the Franciscan missionaries baptizing Indians, setting up missions, and people ultimately move there. Right? State has an amazing history to it. It's easily the most beautiful picturesque state in the United States. I would move there tomorrow morning. It certainly has the best weather and climate, but it is just a hive of satanic activity, and it has been since the 1950s. The communists moved in with the Satanists, took over the industry that we all know, Hollywood, right? That's part of the root of it. My friend George Webb is an investigative journalist, did a 13-part series on the whole thing. Absolutely magnificent. You should watch it, georgewebb.substack.com. Some amazing reporting on the secrets of Laurel Canyon, he called it. Amazing reporting stuff I didn't know. And it's not conspiracy theory stuff. He just actually goes to the archives and drags stuff up and goes, okay, this is what they did. And this is how they did it.
And those are all the things, of course, they want to obfuscate, they want to delete. And, it's great that these archives exist, because nowadays you could just press a delete button and have all of your dirty laundry removed from the public awareness.
I wonder if Trump follows through and actually releases the remaining Kennedy assassination files. And I think the reason that Bob Barr told him not to do it, which he now says Barr told him not to do it, I think the reason that Barr told him not to do it is because what little confidence is left in the federal government is gone. It would evaporate because you would identify the actual agencies that did it. And I think that it's quite possible that one branch of the U.S. military might have had something to do with it. I think all things point to the United States Office of Naval Intelligence. So, and maybe that's the smoking gun. Again, that's my theory. Maybe that's one of the reasons why, and they don't, and Trump didn't want to bring the Navy such infamy onto the U.S. Navy.
And I can speak to that. As I cover the border, I also am in regular contact with intelligence contractors who work with on cartels. And there was an incident where there was a small island in between Mexico and the U.S. called Fronten Island, and it's in the Rio Grande River. The cartel was using that as a hub in between, and there was an operation to take it back. What the public learned was that there was a massive group of men who went in the middle of the day and planted a flag and took it back. What actually happened was, during the night, some really, really talented and brave men went and took the island back. It was maybe a group of 4.
Are you kidding me?
So what these
I've never heard this.
What these agencies aim to do, especially under this current administration, is, but sort of always, is make sure the American people only believe certain things and only know certain things.
Right.
And maybe this is what Barr is kind of,
I did not
pushing with Trump.
I heard.
So even the good things that the American public thinks they know may not necessarily be true.
Well, I want to thank you for stopping by. Good luck with the reporting with TPUSA and Frontlines, and all the good luck with the hiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess you guys are the network part will grow. You say you're building the infrastructure.
Yeah. We are. I've got my eye on a bunch of people that I think would be great fits, and we obviously want to serve people and give them what they need. So, we're always looking to grow.
Well, if you need any help on that infrastructure, I built a radio station and a network.
Amazing.
I can tell you. I can tell you where the bodies are buried. I can tell you what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, we need videographers right now. So
I'm talking for the superstructure, though, of how it's actually going to work in the broadcast. It's a really underappreciated art of figuring out how to do that so that it's consistent and it actually works. Like it kind of worked for us today.
Right.
We stream everything live.
Right.
We're only two people here at this entire conference. Outside of the big boys over there, are streaming anything live, and we managed to pull it off. And I didn't even. And after I got my camera, I left it at home. So I had that. That's a fill-in camera.
Gotcha.
But and it took us a day to figure it out.
Amazing.
So thank you very much.
Mike, thanks
Good
for
luck
having
to
me.
you.
Appreciate it.
Stay in touch, and if I can help you guys,
sure.
I'd love to. We're going to take a very, very brief break and be right back with Josh Bernstein here on the Crusade Radio Network Live Talk and Campaign and Convention Radio and TV the way it should be.
Awesome.